Back in 2009, I found myself looking out down from the wolds onto this area that overlooks the sea, and I pulled into this layby here during the night, and I were overlooking these fields. No wind turbines back in 2009, but as we pulled into this layby, there was a van in it, a police scientific investigation van. With a big dark dome on the top of it. It were a misty night, thick with mist, and we'd been on the wolds. We would have been looking down onto Willsthorpe and that area from over there, which is way in the distance on the wolds. We'd been on the wolds because there'd been so much UFO activity. I didn't find out about what we've called the Willsthorpe incident until 2014. When the elderly couple who witnessed the UFOs contacted me. But we obviously knew that there were a prolific amount of activity taking place, so I pulled into this layby on a mist-filled night, and I was behind this police scientific investigation van, which was empty. So it begs the question, what were they doing? And short time after, the events of Willsthorpe unfolded, and we're going to pick this up a little bit further down the road. And we'll go to Willsthorpe and just discuss some of the events that happened and how they unfolded there. So that's about it for now. So I'm driving down the road now from the layby where we observed back in 2009. But after we'd spoken about the Willsthorpe incident, after I'd got all this information that were given to me in 2014, bearing in mind I was at ground zero back in 2009 but knew nothing about the extent of what happened at Willsthorpe, a lady called Carly contacted me to say that in November 2009 she was driving home with a colleague. And I'm going to wind my window down a little. No, the noise will be horrendous. And she said there was a red car weaving and swerving about in the road in front of them, and they thought he was drunk. And then a friend sat in the passenger seat suddenly started screaming and crying hysterically, and she didn't know what was happening. They thought it was due to the car. When she looked out of her side window, there's a huge UFO paralleling them down this hedgerow. 2009 November. She said it was huge and just skimming along the surface of the ground, and she couldn't even see the top of it. Lights either end of it. Not a helicopter, what we would call a UFO, true unidentified. She said as they approached this roundabout, which would take you to Willsthorpe, they slowed down and looked at this thing, which sort of turned on itself and sped out to sea. So that was November 2009, which tells you that during September and the UFOs over the sea were not the only things that were present and active during that period of time. There's also the police officer that stopped along this road, a little bit further up actually at Willsthorpe, to assist a car that headlights died and suddenly stopped in the darkness. When he got out to assist, he talks about a triangular shaped object lifting from the hedges behind where the car had stopped and flying out to sea. So truly fascinating when you think about it, that not only have we got these boomerang shaped craft that the elderly couple saw on September the 15th 2009, we've also got triangular shaped craft. We've got this incredible sighting that Carly witnessed and her work colleague, and that truly is incredible, you know, because that was literally the other side of the road. Picture this hedgerow here. Literally imagine that they're that close to something potentially from another world. When we say from another world, we're not necessarily saying from outer space. These things are already here. I think we've said that many, many times. And they're real. We've just got to define what we accept as being real, accept as what is reality. And it may not be what the bulk of people think. You know, I've said many times that a lot of these objects, a lot of these UFOs could actually be coming from beneath the sea. And I've coined this amazing phrase, and I don't mind saying it's amazing because I think it sums it up. This out here and other oceans around the world, it is the sub-universe, the submersed universe. And I think that if we need to find these other intelligences, we should be looking in the sub-universe. Remember, 90%, 95% of the oceans of the world are undiscovered, not being charted at all. We know less about the oceans of the world than we do about what's on the moon. So if we're going to find these other intelligences, can't say 100% that I'm correct, but if we are going to find them, I think we might find them in the sub-universe, the submerged universe. Remember where you heard it first. So that night, after driving down from the layby, I came up here for a look, and obviously I didn't see anything, but what were the police scientific investigation vans doing in that layby? It was a strange night. Well, where we're heading now, if we can just turn camera to front, we're on the single track road leading up to Willsthorpe, and there's the wind turbines. Back in 2009 those wind turbines weren't there, but we're coming up now. If I can avoid running this man over, we're coming up now towards the flats at Wilsthorpe. And as I've said before, there's just a few properties, so you can see how sparse it is. And this, we're now approaching September 2009 at the peak of what were called the Wilsthorpe incident. And Lynx helicopters, Chinooks, military vehicles, all requisitioned the compound up here. And my daughter's partner was working in the compound at the time, so you know, we've got first-hand account that they were removed from the compound. So we're up here, we're approaching these flats, and it's difficult to park even though there's nobody here. They're pretty keen on parking and stopping your parking. So as you can see, you're looking out to sea. It's pretty remote, it's pretty desolate. There's the boat compound there, and there'd have been nobody here in September during the night. And we've got these flats. The road's been done since I was last here, and it's just there's the boat compound. So when I talk about the boat compound, people get an idea of it now, perspective of what we're actually talking about. It's not some lavish boat compound. Back in the day in 2009 there were even less boats in it. So, you know, it were in a bit more of a dilapidated state. So I'm walking down the slipway now to where the military would have gone that night. There's the porter cabin, there's the flats. We'll just go down here and imagine 2009, an elderly couple witness a huge circle of boomerang shaped objects over the sea. And quite spectacular. I got told about it in 2014, went and spoke to them extensively over a number of years, and their accounts never wavered. Other people did see these objects. So we'll just nip onto the beach briefly, because I'm parked where I shouldn't be parked. And as you can see, Willsthorpe Beach, people. How good is that? Looking down there is where that whale beached earlier in the year. You've got Flamborough Head there, and then you've got the beach of Willsthorpe, which is long and flat. And if I go down here, I may be able to show you the flats, and you'll get a perspective of why I said from the bottom of these people's garden you could actually throw a stone and you would have hit the sea. So there's the flats behind me. Now imagine 2009, September the 15th, coming out and standing at your back door, seeing a huge circle of objects low in the sky over the sea. Imagine the bait diggers from Bridlington walking up the beach and getting removed off the beach the very next evening because the military arrived literally the following day. I was in the archive looking for answers to this, what we'll call the Willsthorpe incident, and I found a newspaper clipping that said residents of Bridlington spot lynx, and I thought they'd spotted a big cat. And when I read it, it said that people were amazed to see lynx helicopters flying low and landing. They arrived in the daytime, they arrived the following day. So I'll leave it at that. There's more. We'll have a follow-up on this, but for the moment there's a brief overview of the Willsthorpe incident. And if you want to read about it in detail, it's in Truth Proof 2, which is on the truthproof.uk website to purchase as a paperback. So we'll head back up here now, and you can see that Willsthorpe is an absolutely incredible event. It began earlier in the year 2009, like 1998 was prolific for UFO related events, and all around the East and North Yorkshire coastline people were reporting seeing unexplained phenomena. Not just light phenomena, but structured craft. Burton Fleming, a police officer, and he witnessed what he called a flying crucifix at the back of his property. It just goes on and on. Literally prolific events surrounding Willsthorpe 2009. As I say, it came to a crescendo with the events of that night. So there's the boat compound, as you can see. There's the flats, 4 blocks of 4, 16 flats that overlook the North Sea. I think they were built in 1935, and there you go, Willsthorpe. We'll pick this up later, and if you like what we're doing, please like and subscribe. It's totally free. Let's grow the channel. Okay, thank you.